Welcome to Starbase 80. I am Captain John. Remove that. Go. Oh my goodness, that's a whole lot of me. It's a whole lot of me. You know what? You deserve better than just me. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Ladies and gentlemen, my co-host of the show, the first officer to my captain. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you welcome Exo Flobo Boy?
Got faith on the heart. Morning, Captain. How's it going?
Morning. It's going good, Flobo. Oh my gosh. This was my worst prepared episode yet.
Mine too.
Oh, good.
Starbase 80. Damn.
Fantastic. That's the bad news. The good news is it's a super great episode. I got done watching it about an hour ago. Flew by, I have to say. Just flew by. I don't know if it's because
episode 2 weeks ago, though. What happened?
I don't do homework. I don't do homework, Flobo. That's the whole secret to my success. I'm sorry, lack of secret to my lack of success. I don't do homework.
That's the way to do it.
So we started In a Mirror Darkly from Enterprise, and we started that last week. We did part 1. And so just give us a real quick rundown. What were your feelings? Just to sum up, what were your feelings about part 1 of In a Mirror Darkly of Enterprise, a series that you have not watched a lot of?
Yeah, I think I watched most of them for this show. So between the 2 seasons, maybe 6 to 10 episodes. I'm just guessing here. No, it's actually a pretty good story. We got to see a bit more of those Tholians, you know what I mean, and what that means for that universe and world. And it was cool to take a little sliver of a story from 40, 50 years ago and flesh it out again as a big Green Lantern mark. One of the greatest things that happened to the mythology is when Jeff Johns took the color yellow and made a whole yellow impurity thing that opened up the idea for each of the rings having its own entity, and that's really awesome. That said, acting was way over the top, and it gets worse or better this one around. Why not?
It is such an interesting world, and a lot of it is predicated on the evil twins that were, really this whole idea introduced by the original Star Trek series and Mirror, their groundbreaking episode. So this particular Star Trek series, of course, comes much later. Yeah, as you say, about 35 to 40 years at that point when Enterprise did that. And still, that was quite a while ago. So let's take a look at the timing. 2005. Do you remember where you were in 2005?
Oh, actually, I do. That was my junior year in college in Florida, and we're worried that Hurricane Katrina was going to hit Florida. And I go, it never hits us, and it didn't. It went just totally way later than New Orleans. So yes, I remember that very vividly.
Right. Wow, that was rough. Yeah, April 29th, 2005 is when this aired. This is from, of course, the fourth season of Enterprise. It is the 19th episode. At this point, they knew that Enterprise had been canceled, but with the resilience of Star Trek creators, they were putting out some of their best episodes pretty much in an effort to say, look, this is still a really great show. We are still really good at our job. We tried to do a lot of things to get the network, UPN, to like us and support us. And it didn't work. And they were being canceled. They were the only Star Trek series at that point, other than the animated series, that failed to go the full 7 seasons that you usually go to give you a great run in syndication.
Right. That syndication money is legit. uh,
Legit.
One of the things you can tell though is that things get a lot of compressed. I know I'm jumping way ahead here. I'm going to the end, but the way this episode ends, it's like, well, where's part 3? Oh wait, there isn't. We're doing another episode right afterwards. So I was kind of like,
Right.
oh come on,
Yeah. And I do absolutely love, as I said last week, that co-exec producer Brennan Braga, just by looking at the opening credits, said, man, we should have done more of these.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have. They really could have. I mean, it would have been such a different kind of show to put out there. And if they had done, his whole thing was they should have done a whole season. I love that kind of brave within the franchise thinking,
Right.
because I, as a fan, I didn't love Enterprise. I'll just say I didn't love it. I don't hate it. I go back and I watch it now and I go, yeah, that's Star Trek. I like that. But there were so many sort of softened, kind of nerfy things about this series, and they were really willing to give that up.
Yeah.
They were going for a very sort of mass appeal. I think they were trying to get younger women, honestly, to like
See
the
that?
show, which is not a bad thing. Honestly, I'm never one of those people like, oh, you abandoned the fans. I'm a fan. I'm always going to be there. You want to try to find other. We go through this when we watch Star Trek Discovery, as
Yeah.
we do on Commander's Log on Thursdays.
Yeah, well,
Which,
UPN was always
well,
that way. I mean, UPN kind of gets like written off as being the black network at at the time because they're like Sparks and my personal favorite, Homeboys in Outer Space. Oh, and A Secret Diary of Desmond Pfeiffer. But I think there was
yes.
always a concerted effort to get more women to watch UPN as a network, as like an alternative to the Big Four.
Yeah, when you had UPN and you had the WB, they were both kind of going for these, because Buffy the Vampire Slayer was in there too, and that was an awesome show.
Yeah, but UPN had Roswell, the first version of Roswell.
That's right. That's right. They were trying a lot of different things, and when they combined and became the CW, obviously, we got a whole different deal over there. There are a lot of very, female leaning, female oriented shows. They even did that to a lot of my beloved, DC Comics shows. They made them very soap opera-y. And
I don't think I can do this. I have so many powers, but so many struggles.
I just remember watching Smallville and digging it. Now, so granted, that was WB at the time. I dug it, but one of the oh my god, that's kind of funny. Okay, Craig Lubin comes in. WB around 2005. Pretty White People with Problems Network.
I don't want to wait for our lives to be over.
Dawson's Creek. Yeah, for me it was always Smallville with the 12,000th time that Lana says to Clark, "You never tell me the truth." And Clark's like, "Oh, I can't tell you, I'm Superman."
Yeah. I'm just trying to protect you.
Over and over and over. Yeah. All right, getting into this episode, and really, we're like 15 minutes past the hour, 16 minutes past the hour right now.
Whatever. It's a light day today.
we've got to get to our other gigs after this show. So Flobo and I are kind of flying through this one. And as Flobo points out, very rightfully so, there ain't a whole lot of plot here in this one.
Nope. It's all resolution to the end. You're like, wow, that's a cool oh, we're done with this. That's the most egregious part about it. It's like, okay, you just say, forget all the stuff we built in the first part. You're zooming to the end. Okay, that's fine. But then you give me a nice little nugget. He goes, you want to see more of this? Well, too bad. We're sold out. We're going back. Hey.
I know, it's brutal. It's brutal. This one also suffers from, do you remember the movie Stripes?
Oh, yeah. With Bill Murray, right?
Yeah. And there was a lot of complaining in Stripes that it was essentially 2-hour-long movies.
I see that.
Basic, when they go through basic training and then they become a unit, and then the crazy camper, then that giant recreational vehicle, military vehicle they had. You've got that in this one too.
Or Hancock.
Was that?
Or like Hancock, where one half was a big superhero movie, and the second half was like this like weird celestial angel send up. It's like okay,
Yeah.
but sorry.
No, that's right. No, Hancock bothered me so much for that reason. That's true.
Mhm.
And they kind of short shrift both stories in order to slam them together. Crazy. In this one, the second half is we resolve the what's going to happen now that Archer has a people have to remember the USS Defiant disappears in the original series. We don't know where it goes. So now all these series later, they explain here's where it went. It went to Jonathan Archer's mirror universe, back in time, into the evil twin universe, and now they have a spaceship with better shields, better weapons. Nothing could beat the spaceship. It can do warp travel faster than any other ship because it's from 100 years in the future and from another universe. Man, it's that's the second half. The first half is kind of my favorite, which I will call Die Hard with a Gorn.
I don't know much about the Gorn, but I always feel when people mention them, they're kind of like this thing off screen, like you see what the Gorn did last week, like or who the Gorn. But then you actually saw it, you're like, you know what? Someone probably just saw the heck out of Jurassic Park. You're like, you know, we need basic CGI for that UPN trailer. That's what we need.
You are not lying at all. You're not lying at all because I mean the Gorn shows up in the original series. He is a captain of his ship. I assume a ship full of Gorns, and basically
stuff.
you know, flying around doing Gorn shit. You know, I don't like to swear on the show usually, but it just kind of works. And he is in many ways like his ship's Captain Kirk, the Gorn that we see fighting Captain Kirk, because some super powerful aliens are like, hey, you less advanced species should fight it out. We think that would be funny. And they're not wrong. I mean, you and I are both wrestling fans.
Oh yeah, exactly. Get the chairs out.
Hey, can William Shatner beat a lizard man? I don't know. Let's book it.
Look here, brother. I always go over. Damn, Will Shatner. Okay, fine. I'll take him backstage.
He would too. I can't lose to Gorn. Come on now. I can't drop the championship to that lizard man. That makes the championship look bad. It's like 12,000 things from our lives all jammed into
It's a deep cut if you're a wrestling or even a comedy fan.
Very deep Flobo and John cut. Absolutely. Where's my notes? Okay, here's my notes. Where are your notes? Oh, there you are. Okay, so I kind of dig the Gorn thing. You know, it is 2005 CGI, not the best.
Even back then, it wasn't the best. I was like, wait a minute. Because Men in Black came out in 97. This was not that. Like, what the hell was that?
Pretty bad. Pretty bad. And there's a storyline behind all this. So basically, they find the big MacGuffin of part one, the Defiant. They get to the Defiant, and Archer's in big trouble with the real captain of the Enterprise in the mirror universe. That's Captain Forrest. Captain Forrest gets in trouble with the Tholian and for some reason thinks he can like wait them out. That's not what Tholians are all about, man. Tholians create a Tholian web. That's how Tholians do. And once the web is constructed, then Captain Forrest basically tries to use force to get out. Wrong move in a Tholian web, folks. Anytime you find yourself in one, do not fire upon it.
Well, it's like quicksand, just move very slowly.
Exactly. You don't want to be thrashing. And so Captain Forrest is in there thrashing and he blows the damn ship up. There were escape pods. The escape pods have been basically found, and they.
I don't jump in here. So I have this thing where I open up tabs every time John says something really fun. So I actually Googled why is CGI so bad at Enterprise, and Google says, "Do you mean In a Mirror Darkly?" That right there was the best snap ever. That is just awesome. But sorry, you were saying.
Star Trek, bad CG. Do you mean Mirror Darkly? Wow.
Oh my gosh. That is
Thanks,
awesome.
autocomplete.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, at this point, their budget was pretty short. Actually, one of the interesting things about this, and I don't mean to make fun because I really do love these 2 episodes, but it was originally supposed to be 1 episode, and they were told that won't work because the budget for 1 episode won't cover all of these sets you're going to have to build to create the Defiant and create classic Treks. So what they did was they said you have to do it as a 2-parter. That way you can get the budget for 2 episodes to build the sets for this essentially 1 long episode.
Damn, I guess that's a better alternative than that having like the we're stuck in a holodeck episode, right?
Exactly. Or the there was some disaster and we're in an elevator. I wonder if someone will come find us.
Right.
These are all good ways to save on your budget.
A sitcom, the worst enemies locked in a cabin. We're snowed in.
My favorite one is always The Siege. So it's like, look, we have to pretend that we're hostages for now until we know more about what these people want. Like every freaking series eventually has like some bank robbery where your hero is like, big bruise on his head. Now he's got to get regular people to help him out. Oh God, here we are writing other shows. That's how bad this story is.
Go Hollywood. Woo.
So as we're trying to find out how to get this Gorn, and Dr. Phlox at one point, they say, like, how did the Gorn get on the ship? I wish I could remember who asks. Is it Merriweather? Who is just like such a bimboy in this one, man. Just such like a dumb hunk.
Got a fresh fade, man. You know what I'm saying? Feeling himself. When I leave the barbershop, I'm like,
I do love that they just go like, evil Merriweather is like sexy Merriweather.
Yeah, why not?
Because let's face it, sexy guys are evil, ladies. You got to stay away from them and go for a dork like me.
I can imagine being in a room somewhere. It's like, well, we're showing 2 midriffs. We need something for the ladies. I know. Yo, Merriweather.
Get those triceps popping.
Yeah, exactly.
Put the diamond back in your ear. We got to pull in some of these gals.
You got a Billy Williams accent every time. All right.
So there's let's see. I gotta find your important stuff here. They managed to get a bunch of the fleet. A bunch of the people who were aboard Enterprise and were in lifeboats. They were in escape pods. They bring them in, and then they kill almost all of them with the Gorn. That was kind of interesting. It is actually quite important that we get the Hoshi rendezvous with Captain Archer. She is now the captain's woman for him, as she was for Captain Forrest.
The whole time, we get it. We get it. Was this part of like back in his contract? Are we doing eel episodes? Great. I need to bang this shit like 4 times. Can we do this? I'm like, bro, point made.
I think there is a writer's reason for all of this, because let me point out, she is constantly the writer Mike Sussman has said 2 very important things about this 2-parter. One was we're putting the hoe back in Hoshi.
Oh yeah.
And the other one is that Hoshi is apparently the space bartender, because she's always pouring drinks and giving them to Archer.
Got it. But still.
Yeah.
Because look, I don't want to ruin everything, ruin the ending here, but like,
no, go ahead.
She's like, yeah, sex, and Archer's like completely blasted. He's like dripping wet. He's like, we're like, yo, what is she doing to the poor guy? She doesn't kill him one way, she's gonna kill him another way. Jeepers. That was incredible. Like, it's so cringe.
That's amazing.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a man had an incredible time and a woman maybe not so much.
Death by snoo snoo. That's what it was. That's what it felt like it was. He needs a workout plan. Captain needs a treadmill. Jeez.
Well, I mean, Scott Bakula is an older man.
Yes.
Linda Park's like maybe 20 years younger. I mean, maybe. I'm just saying. Give it up. He's in really good shape too. I mean, that water polo, that'll keep you in decent shape.
Jazzercise, water size.
I love how she says during their first, like, pillow talk discussion, she basically says, you've done such a great job getting the Defiant, knowing the Defiant was out there, bringing it back. They're probably going to give you your own ship. You're probably going to have your own command.
Yeah.
And he's like, I already have one. It's the Defiant.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, he's got no right to this ship by the laws of Terra Prime, by, the evil twin universe. This shouldn't be his ship, but he's like, why would I give it up? And I have to ask, why would you give it up? Would you give up the ship at this point?
If again, this is what we talked about last week about like the rules of the Terran Prime thing, right? I understand he has to have that conflict for the plot, but like, no, it's mine. It wouldn't even an issue. It wouldn't even be a view screen. I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Seriously. I mean, if I'm gonna be a pirate, I'm gonna do pirate stuff.
Yeah. What do you think, superior guy? Should I give it to you? And I want to lead it? It's like that's definitely like we got to fill in these 40 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's quite a bit of, as we used to say back in broadcast, quite a bit of stretching it out.
Yeah.
So there are little plots that show up, and really it's not all that important, but I did enjoy it. I'm really torn here. Really light on story, really like obvious on story. Oh, yeah, one of the things they do to stretch things out is Hoshi has been going through the Defiance database, and it basically tells you everything that goes on in the good universe, in our universe. And she points out who that Jonathan Archer is.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy and like a major achiever and like one of the cornerstones of Starfleet. And the evil Archer is like really intimidated by himself.
I like how even evil Archer's fed up with the guy. Could eat two shoes, mother trucker. Like, ain't no one's that good. I was like, damn.
The difference between the two is so extreme that evil Archer, okay, and yes, Flobo mentioned it already. He is exactly right. So over the top. So evil Scott Bakula is so over the top, but still I enjoyed it. Am I weird for enjoying this like really over the top crap?
No, you're not weird, because sometimes like you were saying, having these episodes for actors is fun for them, and it could be like a palate refresher for a lot of us. I can't think of a recent example for me, but like when they did crossovers in CSI and Horatio Caine came to New York, but he didn't have all his Miami powers, and Mac Taylor was still the stronger CSI. That was kind of cool to watch. But at the same time, it's like, man, I felt like his accent got thicker as it got on the second part. I am evil. Okay, we get it. And I'm really sweaty. Okay.
and there's this thing that evil Archer has where he imagines good Archer taunting him in his ear, which is insane because he's an evil Archer imagining a good Archer. But of course, an evil Archer is going to imagine another Archer as being even more evil.
What? So the whole subconscious thing was weird to me, because like, why did the subconscious guy have a different haircut? Well, actually, I wish I had a ponytail. I can't. I take that back. I withdraw my question. Never mind. It's cool.
I'm telling you, I want to meet the Flobo that's got the big natural fro. I want to meet the Billy Preston Flobo. I want to see that Harlem Globetrotters glorious. That's what I want to see. And then totally bald John. That's what I want to see.
Right, exactly. I'll take you. The evil universe is me. All the facial hair, you none of it. That's
anyway. This is normally what you would cut, but it's live, so there you go.
Right.
The big Gorn fight happens. Hallucination Archer gets Archer to somehow beat the Gorn. Phlox is, I love the part where Phlox has gone through the database on the Defiant just to, check out the literature, the classic literature. And
It took me out. This took me
he
out the entire show.
did it really?
Yeah, I said
Don't get into it, man.
I understand that it was, again, a stretched out part of a two-parter, but the whole flock stuff seemed especially tacked on. Whereas like the Hoshi thing was like added stuff you could cut out. The whole flock thing could have been another episode or just take out completely or
Interesting.
in another universe. It felt like, oh yeah, okay. There you go.
Interesting. John Billingsley, who plays Dr. Phlox, and I should point out Connor Trinneer, who played Trip, both mention in A Mirror Darkly this two-parter as being their least favorite thing they did on the show.
Ooh.
They
Wow.
felt it was corny. They felt it was over the top in a bad way. And they're two guys. I mean, when the scene happened where the two of them are fighting, the two characters of those two characters, I was like, wow, knowing how much they hated doing this episode, that's almost cruel.
Yeah, because then you got to like put it aside and yeah, that's rough. I didn't think this would be the one they would hate the most, but I can imagine being in a place, getting a script, being like, "This is dumb," and try to perform best you can.
Exactly, because I thought they both did a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
If you had asked me, if somebody on that show hated doing what they were doing, can you name who it was? I wouldn't have named those two.
Right.
But, that goes to show, like, actually, I've met Connor Trinneer, and he is the superest, nicest person in the world.
Superest.
I can't say enough about what a nice man he is. And so I kind of get it. He's like, oh, really? You got to slap some scar tissue on my face, and now I have to sneer for a couple of hours.
I demand better.
The Avenger is another ship, and when they basically find the Avenger, it's getting its ass kicked by the Rebellion, which is all the non-Terra Prime, all the non-Earth. The ISS is basically such a terrible fascist organization. They're getting beat up. They are losing the war. The Defiant can turn everything around. They save the Avenger. I don't know if you picked up on this. I actually had to look this up. So the captain on the Avenger has been killed.
Okay.
The acting captain is an admiral who's on board. And the first in command is a character that we've seen before, Saval. Played by Gary Graham, who is in the Fox TV series Alien Nation as the Earth guy.
Wow.
Oh, always love him on this show. He's recurred many times as Saval. Did you notice? I didn't notice this at first. Did you notice Saval in this mirror universe has the Vulcan goatee?
Now that you mention it, yeah, I did notice that. That was on purpose? That was intentional?
I think so. Evil Mr. Spock,
Right.
Mr. Spock in Mirror in the classic series was often, the old thing was if you had an evil twin, he had that goatee. He had the pudding stain, as we used to call it.
That sounds gross.
Or the Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you're if you're a fan. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Saval and T'Pol get together. Saval, T'Pol, and Phlox. They tried to get this rebellion together, and folks, we're running low on time in A Mirror Darkly, so the rebellion gets crushed very quickly.
Yeah, pretty handily too. It was like rebellion, whatever. When's lunch?
All right, folks, that's lunch. And what then happens is once again a little sexy time with Hoshi and Archer. Boom, 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 boom. And then that great moment where they're like, cling with the champagne, And Archer does this crazy thing. Never seen anyone do this before. He's lying down and he just pours the champagne on his face.
I was like, you know what? I guess you really can't shotgun champagne. So that's the closest thing to it. Oh, hell yeah. Clink. Oh,
Gonna have me some champagne. Let Dom Perignon over here in the captain's quarters.
What?
Hell yeah.
What?
I'm sorry to everyone who doesn't love wrestling.
Too bad.
Flobo and I are Star Trek wrestling guys.
Oh no.
And at that point, okay, here's another thing that I didn't catch. So maybe I can blow your mind with this.
Do it.
The champagne has been drugged.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Archer rolls on the floor and he's like paralyzed. Hoshi is like, well, I guess I'm the new sheriff in town.
It's a good thing I have sex with my clothes on.
Door opens up. In walks sexy Merriweather.
I don't understand that at all. I don't know. It's kind of like she's so evil she's dating a black man, but whatever. Okay, I buy it. It's fine.
Well, I mean, Merriweather was the there's always a bodyguard in the mirror universe. We find that out. You're always allowed to have a bodyguard with you.
Mm-hmm.
So Merriweather becomes Archer's bodyguard in part 1. So I guess she's stolen the bodyguard. But yeah, you're right.
It wasn't a handshake. It wasn't like, thank you. Thanks for being my new bodyguard. It was like,
yeah, it wasn't a high five. It was definitely a bow, a chicka bow bow. Hey, I'm not hating it. Hoshi then goes to the bridge, gets on there with an admiral, tells the admiral, I am now the empress. Okay. So.
And there's no part 3.
Everything that's happened. Right. No part 3. So you've got to have faith of the heart that something exciting happened from that point on. I don't know one Star Trek fan that didn't love this ending. I think every Star Trek fan I ever knew loved this ending. What did you think about this ending, Flobo?
I thought, again, this episode leading up to it was, I won't say boring, because boring sounds like I'm totally checked out. I was like, this seems unnecessary. That could have been solved. Whatever. Even the way Archer dies, I'm like, ugh. But when Hoshi becomes the Empress, going from being the captain's woman to being the Empress, I'm like, I'm on board. So I guess the question is for you, seeing the way that ended, coming back next week and being like, all right, we're going to somebody else. That must have been like a giant bait and switch, wasn't it?
I wasn't sure. Well, I have to tell you, I didn't watch this when it was broadcast. I was completely out when it was broadcast. So I saw it when Enterprise was streaming, I believe, when Netflix picked it up. So this is still many years ago that I saw it, but not at the time. So, yeah, I knew it was a 2-parter, and I hate to say it, but this is actually really relevant to being a Star Trek fan. I knew it was too good to be true. I knew it was too good to last. I knew that we weren't going to see, a lot of what we love here.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, it reminded me of a show that I'm sure many people watch called American Gods, where there was this whole like old god contingent, like Zeus, or not Zeus, Odin, and those guys against like new gods like technology and cities or whatever. Right. And they had a storyline of there's going to be a war between old gods and new gods. Season 1, season 2, season 3, the same storyline. They haven't fought yet, and I was getting bored. But season 3 ends in such a way you're like, well, what happened season 4? And I guess everyone just kind of canceled it. I feel that's what happened. It was like you had a chance to tell us a story or even a beat. If let's say they finally find the end of the middle of part 1 and there's an Emperor Sato in part 2, then that'd be kind of cool. Or end of part 1 and into part 2. That could be a kind of cool thing. So I sit through all this flock stuff. I sit through an alien getting punched in the gut for some reason. I sit through a Gorn battle, and you go, forget it. I'm like, come on.
And honestly, it just felt a lot like they couldn't afford.
Oh, thank goodness! I read a book once. That might be it.
I promise. they couldn't afford to keep doing it or something. I don't know. I mean, it was disappointing that this is how it ends. It's an interesting ending. It's also interesting that in Star Trek Discovery, they continue with Terra Prime. It's a huge deal. And they give the mirror universe a name, Terra Prime. And there's also an Empress. And she's also Asian, which I kind of love too. This whole idea that Earth is now led by these, incredibly grand empresses. I kind of love that because it is very of Earth. We have had empresses, we have had queens ruling nations, ruling empires before. So, yeah, it makes sense. But I'm with you, Flobo, in the sense of like, so she mentions it. She's still wearing her like bare midriff outfit, and it's over. Bum, ba-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. It's over. Hey, I'm glad they went there. I'm glad they set up Discoveries, much more beautiful, much more expensive, much more played out visit to the mirror universe. But this is one reason why Enterprise is not a beloved series, because they touch good ideas sometimes, but they don't complete them.
Yeah. It's kind of a victim of their own setup. I think the syndicated shows have that discoverability about them. UPN had very specific things they want to achieve, but it's fine. But
yeah. Keith
says, Keith is right. It's a good stopping point. I was on board to see more. Yeah, the third episode wasn't even it was a back to where it was. I felt like it was weird. I felt like I missed an episode. I felt like, hey, maybe I misnumbered it or something like that. But
well, what was actually really cool about this one was the Marvin Rush, the director, did such a great job. They actually put him on Terra Prime, which was one of the getting ready to wrap up the whole series of Enterprise series. So, really, you had some good writing from Sussman and Manny Cotto. You had some great direction. It really did hint at a lot more in the future. And I guess, with Star Trek Discovery, they really did kind of continue where this started and make it into this very Ming the Merciless kind of version of Earth, which is really cool. But yes, if you were watching Enterprise hoping that this slot machine would pay off, you did not get what you wanted. And that's just the story of Enterprise in a nutshell, honestly.
And to make this a completely musical episode, you can't always get what you want. If you have faith of the heart. No, I'm just kidding.
But if you try sometime and you subscribe to Paramount Plus, you might get what you need. Whoa. Yeah. Wow. We really could do a musical episode. You and I both have pipes.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
We got to get a few sopranos in here. We got something going on. So that'll do it for Enterprise in a Mirror Darkly. Flobo, any notes you have that you want to share with the good people?
Oh yeah, for sure. Punching an alien in the gut shouldn't be funny, but I laughed really hard at that. That was cool. My favorite line of the whole episode was "a federation of fools." I want to use that somewhere in conversation. Dang, that Admiral got roasted. T-Paul had the unfortunate situation of having to raise her voice in an argument, but having really bad ADR, so she thought like she was underwater. Love how the future control panels of the Defiant looked like TOS cast off. It looked like T-Paul was hurting Jolly Ranchers. And serious question, what was the whole point with the fight between T-Paul and Soto? Like, she won, and then she gets blasted in the back. I felt like that was kind of random. And Archer dies. That's it. No funeral. Dang, man. It's rough out here in these Terran streets.
Oh, damn. Okay. And I will say Michael Sussman was asked at one point about that terrible death of Captain Archer. And he said, we don't know he died. You just know he was poisoned. And no. You just know he was drugged. You don't know that she killed him.
Ooh, smart. A wizard did it.
Wizard did it. Okay, let's see. interesting things in this episode. Archer kills Slar, the Gorn. When we see the good Kirk in the good universe meet a Gorn, he could kill him, but he lets him live. That happens in the episode arena. Told you about Saval's goatee. I was very excited to find out about that. T'Pol's role in this episode echoes Mirror Spock's ultimate decision in Mirror Mirror from Classic Trek, as both Vulcan characters seek to put an end to the evil of the Terran Empire. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Next week, Flobo, next week, you and I are going to do a DS9 episode.
Ooh, breaking news.
Now, I'm going to give you a choice, Flobo, because this is all about you, as far as I'm concerned. You tell me you want to see an episode about this or an episode like that. That's how we ended up in Mirror Darkly, which was great. I love these episodes, for all of their warts and all. So you said you were in the mood for a DS9. I got two choices for you. We can follow Captain Sisko's journey being the emissary of Bajor, which I like. I really like these episodes. 3 episodes and all of that. There is also a 2-parter that tells you a lot about Earth following World War III or right before World War III. Anyway, a key moment in Earth history that's a 2-parter. Really great. Or, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?
What's behind the curtain? I want to do the curtain. Curtain.
Or we could do the episodes where he goes back to being, he goes through a weird vision to being a science fiction writer in the 1950s on Earth.
Dang, I kind of wanted the Buck Boykai episodes.
Or you can freestyle it. Whatever sounds cool that you may have heard of.
Let's do it. Leo Genesis says that 2-parter will play in Picard. Whatever Leo says. Leo.
Wasn't that 3? Hang on. Let me get that up.
He just said we were bad at math.
Was 3 choices.
That's top of the show, Keith. He said he's bad at math. That's why we do shows instead. Let's do that.
Leo, I'm not sure that's true. I thought that was true. And looking at the current setup for Picard 2, which we're calling Picarder.
Ugh.
I know. We're gonna be exploring this Picard thing. Okay, that's the one we're gonna watch. I think that one's called Past Tense.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, so starting next week, we're going to be going back to DS9. We're going to watch the Gideon Bell episodes. Very, very exciting. And I do want to just throw this last one from our comedian buddy, Joshua Postel. So Soshi drugged Archer, took him to a weird kind of universe bondage session, the kind where the agony booth is considered foreplay.
First of all, the agony booth is always foreplay, good sir. I don't know. Let's roll, John. I got things to do.
we gotta go. Almost got places to be. I've got things to not do.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us at Starbase 80. Flobo, Boyce. People can find your Patreon, and they can find you at Flobo Boyce everywhere on the social media, I believe. And Starbase 80. You can also find me at Weber Internet Thingy on the good interwebs. And that'll do it. Goodbye, folks.
Federation of Fools.